Good morning, friends. So, in this class, we are going to discuss the next concept, that is types of plaster finish. We are going to discuss the various types of plaster finish you generally see. First is smooth cast finish. Very smooth cast finish. If you see this diagram, you'll understand. Okay. Here you can see the smooth cast finish. It appears very smooth too for the visual. Okay, this is the smooth cast finish. Okay, now if you see the text part, what are the points written in this finish? Smooth leveled surface is obtained. In this very smooth leveled surface is obtained. The mortar for the finish may be made up of cement and fine sand. Cement and fine sand in the ratio of 1 is to 3. So the mortar is applied with the help of wooden float. You have seen wooden float. Steel floats are not recommended because since they give very smooth finish, which is not good. Okay, very smooth finish which will crack later. So the first type we have seen smooth cast finish. This is the photograph of that one, smooth cast finish. Now next is what? Sand faced finish. Okay, sand faced finish. First see the diagram first. This is the sand face finish. Okay, after plastering you can easily see the different sand particles here. Okay, so this is the sand finish how it appears on the side. So how it is there? This is obtained by plastering two coats. The first coat is applied in 1 is to 4 cement sand mortar of 12 mm thickness, and it is provided with zigzag lines. It is provided with zigzag lines. After curing for 7 days, second coat is applied. Okay, its thickness is 8 mm, and the mortar which is used for second coat is 1 is to 1. Means what? 1 cement and 1 sand. Means what? Larger cement is used. Okay, the sand, this is perfectly screened so that uniform size is obtained. Later on, very important, that is sponge is used to get the sand face. Sponge is used in the second coat when it is still wet. The surface of the final coat is finished by rubbing the clean and washed sand of uniform size by use of wooden float. So generally after application of the first and second coat, you use sponge to absorb the cement particles and you will get sand face. You will get sand face. That is the first one. Second one. Third is what? Rough cast finish. If you see the diagram, you will understand. Rough cast finish. So it will appear like this. Bigger grains of sands are visible. Bigger grains of sand are visible. Rough cast finish. In this, mortar for final coat contains fine sand and coarse aggregate. So both are present. In a rough cast, bigger aggregates can seen. Okay, so that is why we have fine sand as well as coarse sand in this proportion. 1 is to 1.5 is to 3. Cement, sand, aggregate. Okay, the aggregate size may vary 3 mm to 12 mm. That is no problem. The mortar is dashed, means what? It is sprayed on the wall and using trowel. Later on, the surface is then roughly finished. It is then roughly finished using the wooden float. Okay, so now this is about rough cast finish. To make you more understanding, I just I have some photographs. Okay, this is the rough cast finish. Next is what? Pebble. Pebble dash finish. So you can use the different types of pebbles on the plaster surface. So this is one type of surface, plaster surface. So this is pebble dash surface or pebble dash finish. In this final coat, okay, in this final coat, clean pebbles of size 10 mm to 20 mm are dashed. Dash means thrown. Okay, applied. Dash means applied. So this is about pebble dash, so that they can held in position. So in this photograph you can see the pebbles are there on the wall. Okay, depth finish. Depth finish means what? A greater depth is seen. Greater depth is seen. This is similar to the pebble dash finish in which 12 mm coat is applied while still it is wet. Okay, so if you see the photograph, you will understand what do you mean by depth finish. This is the depth finish. You can see the different grooves. Some of the what is that, pebbles have been cut or grinded. So this is called as a depth finish. It is called as depth finish. Okay, So now next is scrapped. Scrapped means what? Different types of patterns are scrapped here. Okay. So here 6 to 12 thick coat is applied. See all these types what? First they are going to give the first coat, that is a rendering coat. Above that, if you want sand finish, more sand is used, sponge is used. If you want to use the coarse aggregate, then that name will be depth finish. Okay, if you are using smooth pebbles, then it is called as pebble finish, but the base coat is same. Okay, you have only the final coat combination is changing here. So in the scrapped finish, what is happening? So you are making the zigzag marks. Here you can see. Here you can see it's generally used in village side. Here you can see zigzag marks on the surface. This is called as scrapped finish. So how it is made? It is made by scrapping the surface. It is made by scrapping the surface by using wire brush or any instrument. Okay. Next is textured. In the plastered surface itself, you have different type of arts you can made. So in the plaster coating itself, base coat will be applied. Above that, you can make a different type of textures. Okay, this is called as a textured finish. Okay. Next is what? Wooden lathe finish. So you, in this one you have different types of this one finishes. So we have completed this na, scrapped and textured we have completed. So there is one more thing which we call it as stucco plastering. What do you mean by stucco plastering? Stucco means there is a base material. There is a base material such as wood, such as metal, such as wire gauge. Are you getting this point? If you apply the plaster on some base material such as wood or such as metal, this is called as hexamet or wire gauge mesh. Wire gauge mesh or this one, wooden mesh. Okay, so these will be fixed in the position. Wooden strips or metal gauge or chicken mesh or whatever things, they are used as a background, and above that you are applying the plaster with some spraying machine or using trowel or anything. So after applying that one, it will stick to the surface and this background framework will be there itself and you are not going to remove. Okay, this is called as plastering and lathe plastering or stucco plastering. Okay, this is the wooden lathe plastering, means the background is everything is wood only. Okay, background everything is wood only. So above that you are applying the plastering. So these are called as lathes. These are called as lathes, and this is called as wooden lathe plastering or stucco plastering. It's called as wooden lathe plastering or stucco plastering. Here chicken mesh is used. Above that you are going to the plaster. So this is called as what? Floating operation. It is called as a float. Okay, this is metal lathe, and this is what? Again a chicken mesh is also applied to get what? One strong bonding. Okay, to get the strong bonding, here chicken mesh is, before that you have wall cement block masonry is there. Above that you are fixing the chicken mesh or mesh, or it is sometimes it is also called by hexamet. It's called by hexamet, and above that you are applying the plaster. Above that you are applying the plaster. So this is the enlarged view of that chicken mesh. Okay. So here you can see the plaster on lathe. Plaster on lathe. So lathes are adapted to provide the foundation for plaster work. We have seen no wooden strips, and we have seen the hexamet, or we have seen the wire mesh. So these are called as lathes. These are called as lathes. Lathes are also provided for plastering for thin partition walls. Sometimes these are also used for partition walls or plastering the ceiling works. Lathes may be generally two types. One is wooden lathes and metal lathes. We have seen the both the things. So here they are. So this is metal lathe. This is what? Metal lathe. This is the metal lathe. This is also a metal lathe. So here it is the wooden lathe. It is called as wooden lathe. Okay. So here what they are doing in the wooden lathe plastering, within the wooden lathe plastering, if they are using wooden strips such as wooden partition walls or wooden ceilings, wooden partition walls or wooden ceilings. So this photograph shows wooden partition wall made up of wooden lath. Okay, and this is called as wooden laths. Okay, plastering is on done on this one. Okay, so here what they are using? say are using well seasoned wooden strips of 25 wide and 1 to 1.2 meter long. So here they are using wooden strips of 1 to 1.2 meter long, okay, 10 to 15 centimeter wide, 10 to 15 centimeter or 25 wide. These strips are fixed parallel lines. So here you can see parallel lines. Okay, these are fixed in parallel lines with clear spacing of 10 So here you can see small gaps of 10 Okay, and secured to the wall, secured to the wall. Okay, this is about wooden plastering. And that wooden laths are fixed for iron laths. It is fixed to the iron laths. Sometimes metal laths are also available. So metal laths, the plain expanded metal lathe, which we call it as exmat, so this is the exmat where it is, this is called as exmat. Okay, exmat, it's called as exmat. So it is commonly used. So metal lathe are fixed to the surface by GI staples. These are fixed to the surface. In case of concrete and masonry surface, wooden plugs have to be embedded. Wooden plugs have to be embedded. After fixing the lathe, the surface is plastered, usually in 3 coats. Cement mortar is used. So here you can see after fixing. So these are called as small dots are there, no? Small dots. What are the small dots? Here you can see. Can you see small dots? These are the wooden pegs or steel pegs, steel staples, steel staples. These are called as steel staples. Okay. After fixing this, you are applying the cement mortar. Okay. This is the different types of finishes. Okay. Next concept that we are discussing is pointing. What do you mean by pointing? If you apply the plastering material only at the joints, only at this horizontal joint or vertical joint, if you put that mortar or if you put that thing here only and here only, then it is called as pointing. The process of cleaning this joint is called as raking. Okay, that process of cleaning these joints is called as raking, making up to depth of 10 Okay, so this is called as pointing. Pointing is applying the mortar only at joints, Okay, here you can see why it is used. It is generally used for exterior works, for compound walls, exterior works. Okay, so now here you can see that one. So why they are used? The term pointing is applied to the finishing of mortar joints only. Applying to the finishing of mortar joints only. In exposed masonry, the joints are considered to be the weakest. Obviously, they are weak and most vulnerable spots for rainwater or dampness to enter. Okay, so before applying pointing, raking will be done. The raking means cleaning of the joints up to 10 to 20 and filling it with better quality of mortar in desired shape. So generally what type of mortar you are using? Lime mortar 1:2 or cement mortar 1:3. 1:3. Okay. So here how the preparation of the surface will be made. For new work, all the joints are raked down to a depth of 20 while the mortar is still soft, and the surface and joints are then cleaned thoroughly. For old work, all the loose pointing and other mortar on the surface in the joints are removed. All the things are removed. The joints and the surfaces are cleaned first and then it is wetted with the mortar. The application of pointing is how it is done. After preparation of the surface, cleaning and wetting of the joint is done, and later mortar is filled in a desired shape. Mortar is used in a desired shape. One thing you understand, background preparation will be done, joints will be raked down clearly, and mortar will be pressed in the joints. Mortar will be pressed by using trowel, so this is about pointing. It's called as pointing. Okay, Now, what are the different types of pointing you can see depending upon the finishes? Depending upon the finishes, you have flush pointing. Flush pointing means what? So here the stone and mortar thickness is same. Mortar thickness is same. Okay, so it is exactly, it will be filled to the joints. It will be filled to the joint. So that is why we call it as flush. Flush means stone surface, pointing surface and another stone surface are in line, so that is called it as a flash pointing. Recessed pointing means what? The plastered, or sorry, that pointing mortar, this mortar is still some gap is there, this gap is there, so this gap is present, it will give different look, that's all. Okay, when you see from a distance, a small gap is there between the this stone surface or brick surface, or this stone surface or brick surface, and this mortar joint, and this mortar joint. So this gap, if it is present, then it is called as recessed pointing. It is called as recessed pointing. Now if you make a shape like this, if you make a shape like this, small groove is itself made, then it is called as rubbed pointing. Then it's called as rubbed pointing. If a bulging portion is there, then we call it as beaded pointing. It is called as beaded pointing. Okay, so if a slant this type of angle is made, this type of angle is made, then it is called as a struck pointing. If small key comes outside, it is called as tuck pointing. It's called as tuck pointing. If V groove is made, V pointing we call it as, and if the inverted V is there, then we call it as weathered pointing. Then we call it as weathered pointing. Okay, this is the different type of, you have to draw the diagrams in the main exam, very important. Okay, different type of pointing finishes, different type of pointing finishes, you should be able to draw the points here. Okay, types of pointings: V pointing, weathered pointing, tuck pointing, struck, okay, rubbed, beaded, okay, recessed and flush. So here you can see the different types of statements. For V pointing, it is forming a V groove. Okay. For weather pointing, it is an inverted form of U. Okay, making a projection of V in the shape. Okay. Tuck pointing, how it is done? The pointing is formed by first pressing the mortar in the racked joint and finishing with the surface. Okay, like that it is, groove is made. Okay. Whatever the pointing you are making, no, whatever the pointing you are making, you can see the thin line, you can see the thin line. Okay, you can see the thin line in all the things. Okay, so this portion is called as old mortar. It is called as old mortar. Only you are making the joints in this one only. You are making the pointing, applying the mortar in this portion only. You are making the designs, you are drawing the patterns like this, okay, rubbed and all. So here already joint is there. This is called as what is the old mortar joint. So here you can see in this diagram, you'll understand. Okay, here up to this old joints are there, old joints are there. Okay, so here old point is there. In this diagram, in this diagram you can see on the brickwork, on the brick masonry, the person is doing jointing. So he is applying the mortar. He is applying the mortar only in the joints. He is applying the mortar only in the joints. Okay, this is the pointing. Only in the joints he is putting the mortar, no, mortar. This is called as joint pointing operation. Here you can see, here you can see different type of pointings, different types of pointings they are doing, no, yeah, the different types of pointings. Okay, so here you can see the recessed means what? Groove is still inside. Okay, it is still inside. Okay, so the different types of pointing operation, this is I think a flush pointing. So it is the wall surface and this brick surface, this brick surface and this pointing surface are in line, so that is why it is called as a flash. So here you can see a driller is used to make it a cut, so this is called as recessed. So here in this diagram, what is that? If groove is there, if these groove is there, then it is called as a rubbed pointing. So this is about rubbed pointing. Okay. So here some projection is made. It is called as if projection is there, beaded pointing. It's called as beaded. So later on, it is groove is made.